Ready to go? Let's go. Ready to fire up?
Yeah.
Man, I'm ready to get down.
Yeah, I'm looking at that curly hair.
Deal with it. All right, ready? Let's go.
Let's see. Room.
All right, no.
He's got a perm. It looks like he has a perm, but it's not. It's his hair.
Definitely don't have a perm. All right, hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. It is, I forgot the date, March the 24th,
Mm-hmm.
and it is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's doing well. We had a free day today, apart from lessons and high school tennis tournaments because of the rain.
Yay.
So we were able to do a show. We've been relatively busy. I actually forgot that the Miami Open started.
Yeah, I didn't even know until I saw the wonderful picture that B-Dog sent me.
Yeah.
Then I realized, oh, the Miami Open started.
Of Venus Williams and her green hair.
Mm.
There you go. I think she had the Superwoman belt on.
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget to hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. It's always a plus because when we do random giveaways, as long as you're subscribed, you are in the thick of it. If we cut out, we will start a new video. It's raining here on Dauphin Island in Alabama where we live, and the internet service is kind of shoddy at best, not just here, but anywhere on the island. If we do cut out, the random giveaway I'm going to do today is if we have to start a part 2 or a second video because of that, the first person to jump back on and say, I'm here in comments, will get either 2 sets of Y-Tech strings or $20 US cash or a 5K tennis shirt sent to them. That's how confident I am that the video will probably cut out.
Yeah.
All right, let's start today's show as usual. Shout outs, Carla. I think you have a lot of them. Let's roll.
Yep, I got a shout out for, a young lady that plays for the Alma Bryant High School team. She's been playing tennis for maybe 4 months. Addison, taking lessons with us for a month now.
I think a month, yeah.
And she got her new racket and she won her doubles and she got to play a boy. They let her play against a boy and she won and she was very excited. I think she won 8-4 or 8-5.
Yeah, I think it was
very good match for her.
They play 8-game pro sets in most of the high school matches, just for time reasons and so many matches going on. But yes, we have 2 students actually that we just started 2 months ago. First-time players. Addison is one, and so is Dylan.
Well, Dylan's been playing a little over 2 months now. We keep saying 2 months, but he took lessons with us first with his mom, and he wasn't really serious into it. And I think with 2 other boys that are playing right now,
yeah,
he's actually been playing, I would say, 4 months now. He comes out every day to play tennis, so he's improving rapidly. He won also.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think he had a parent get in his face about a call, and he stood his ground. And after he won every single point, he was dancing. So he was enjoying himself. So shout out to Addison, Dylan, and my daughter, who's in 6th grade. I'll let her watch the video later on. She got to play a junior in high school.
A boy,
and she won
and
too.
she won as well.
Yeah, 6-4. She didn't even know she won when she won.
So Addison took out a boy.
Yeah.
Liliana, our 11-year-old, took out a boy that's a junior in high school. Mm-hmm. And then Dylan, who's another early
He's an 8th grader, yeah.
8th grade, took out another, I think, junior in high school, something like that.
Yes.
All right. Is that all your shout outs that you have?
Oh, and Ryan Mason for contacting me. He's not too far from us. He was a former high school coach.
Oh, he's in Mississippi.
Sent me an email, about maybe getting together and playing some tennis.
Carla and I, by the way, have our first doubles league match this upcoming Monday night, so we hope to do big things there. Maybe not, though, but we'll see. Yeah. A lot of good players there. Yeah. All right, first shout out I have is to Alex Obed. Alex Obed on the last show left me a comment, and he indicated that if Roger Federer won another major, I would have to shave my head. Now, understand that. That's a huge bet. Huge bet. Now, my only question is I will take the bet. However, if that does not happen before he retires, what will you do? So think about that. I don't want to be, it can't be a one-sided bet. I'll shave the head and I'll do it on this show. Carla can shave it right here. Or hopefully, by the way, we're back in our house for the next show.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I think we will be. Everything's moving along. We told you guys that the contractor got fired, hired someone else. They put the cabinets up yesterday to the kitchen, to the bathrooms. Almost all the tiles are done. The toilets go in this week. The counters are coming next week. Doors are going on. Wash and dryer getting stacked. And then the process starts of cleaning. So we'll probably be very busy.
Let's get down.
Yeah.
Second shout out I have, and by the way, Alex Obed, if you're out there, remember, just come up with something that you will do for such a big bet. Second shout out, this guy 1000. He was the only brother out there that answered the question for the giveaway last week of what was the name of our second youngest daughter, who we named her after. The answer was Gabriella Sabatini, the tennis player, like I have tattooed on my arm here, and her age. He did that in comments shortly after the show ended. And he decided to take the $20 US, and we sent that to him already via PayPal. So great job there.
Someone here named Gold Wolf said, come on, head and eyebrows if you're so confident. Well, you could barely see his eyebrows because he has blonde hair.
Yeah, so. I got blonde eyebrows. I would take that. I'll do that. But yeah. If I'm going to shave head and eyebrows, someone has to come with something they're going to do in a way we can contractually figure out how to put you on here to do so.
Well, Darren LeBeau said, if Roger wins Wimbledon, I will shave my head as well.
Your head is shaved.
I know. That's
Let's go.
And Mitrovic said, if Fed wins another Grand Slam, I will kiss my mother-in-law.
Okay.
You must not like
I would love to hear about this relationship. Interesting.
I love my mother-in-law, so I have no issue.
Yeah, but I don't have, well,
you don't
no, I don't have any in-law issues.
No,
the in-laws are great.
Yeah.
All of them are tennis players. Go figure. All right, next shout out. This shout out goes to two people. Alex Couillard, and once again, this guy 1000. So we were talking in the last show about importance of net play, and we got kind of passionate about it, to say the least. Mm-hmm. After the show, we read all your comments. We do. A lot of times they'll go into these spam folders, though, and we don't catch it till like 3 days later. That's not what happened here, but Alex Couillard and this guy 1000 were talking about out of nowhere, Helena Ostapenko and her one French Open win. Mm-hmm. So out of nowhere, in comments, these two guys start talking about Ostapenko and how, quote, it was the luckiest Grand Slam I'd ever seen. This guy 1000 continued to say, she was bashing the ball Sabalenka style, except all the shots were going in. Then Alex Couillard comes back and says something like this. Yeah, it was crazy how she won that title. I think in the final she had something like 51 winners and 51 unforced errors, right?
Wow.
Anyway, great comments. I love those type of comments. We're talking about something else, and two very deep tennis minds jump in and throw Ostapenko in the mix. Mm-hmm. Great job there on those comments. This is kind of a shout out in a weird way, but the other night there was a referee in a National Hockey League game. So if you watch NHL, there was a referee, his name was Tim Peel, that forgot he was mic'd up, so he had a headset on, right? Mm-hmm. And when he was on the mic, and he didn't realize, so the whole world got to hear him say he called a penalty on a team because, basically in essence, it was a bogus call, and I just wanted to get a penalty on him early. Anyway, shout out to him for his stupidity on that one, and he was terminated, I think, about 5 minutes later.
Makes it kind of think like how many games because of referees are kind of flipped, or maybe the other team could have won because maybe they have something against that team or something personal, or who knows? Who
knows? Yeah. Got to be careful when everybody's listening, for sure. Put some duct tape over your mouth or something. Two more shout outs, and then we're going to start on topic one. Shout out to Natasha Sterling from Switzerland. I think she is the first person that has communicated with us personally from Switzerland. She has a residence, I think, in Italy as well as in Naples, Florida.
Take me with you. Hey.
Yeah, let's get down.
Like seriously,
but
share the love.
Yeah, and she had a really great comment with a lot of good research. So welcome and thanks a lot. Last shout out, and this is an important one. Apologies to Sinissa out there. Sinissa has been a very long time viewer. And I think on the last show, this guy 1000 said, quote, kind of, we went savage, jokingly on Sinissa.
You should watch that movie. It's a good movie, Savage.
So I went back and watched it when I read that, or when I read the comment, and I went back and we kind of did get passionate about it. But I think the moral of the story is when we get into talking about playing the net, right? Mm-hmm. So many people, and most of them are younger generational players or younger generation fans, but the reason why we're passionate about it is so many people think that the game has changed so much. Tennis, for the most part, is the same as it was in 1883, or when was the first Wimbledon, 1896 or 1893. Darren LeBeau probably knows. But the game hasn't changed that much. I mean, we have polyester strings and we have light, graphite rackets, but for the most part, the game is the same. You serve, you hit return of serves, you hit ground strokes, you hit volleys. The game's changed a little bit, but it's pretty much generally the same. And for anyone to I guess postulate that net game is not important, or who cares about the net anymore, just ask Daniel Medvedev about that, and I think the point is mute at that point. You have to be able to play the whole court, and we've coached it for so long. The best players that we coach can play the net as well as the baseline, and those that can't tend to get beaten when someone draws
or
them in.
knows when to take the opportunity at the net. Cut your rallies. Shorten up the rallies, because there's a lot of tennis that we watch that the rallies are like 15 to 20, and there have been so many opportunities where you could end the point a lot earlier and save your body those extra steps.
Yeah, indeed. And a shout out to Joshua Walsh. Joshua Walsh came down from Missouri to play tennis here and to stay at Dauphin Island. We met him. And by the way, Josh, if you're out there watching this, let me know and I'll send you some strings.
He was a good little player.
Good young man.
I like his when we were doing that lesson with Anna Marie. I like how he approached the net. Again, you don't see that too much in junior tennis, but he had this little nice slice. He would come in and then
if he's out there, and I don't know if he will or won't be, but I know he's subscribed. But he tended to jump and hit his backhand. He would step up with the front foot and then hit it. So I would anti-coach that. But anyway. All right, topic number 1. Here we go.
Before we go, Darren changed his. He says, okay, if Roger wins, I will shoot 2 basketballs behind my head in a basket without looking.
You've already done that.
You've done many of those
I've
things.
seen this.
And then Ellis Fire says, underarm serve and jumping when serving has altered the game a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that.
Trick shots, there's always been some type of trick shot or some way to make the highlight reel, but all the jumping and all the other stuff, it just leads to inconsistencies. If you land one and you hit a winner off of it, you make the highlight reel, but most of the time it's an unforced error.
William Spencer said, players like Medvedev have convinced many young players you only need to rally from the baseline. Medvedev in the Australian Open final should have proved why that is not so.
I agree. Who said that?
William Spencer.
It's a great comment, as always. All right, topic number 1. Here we go. Carla and I came across an article, and it was written on a platform called Tennis Head, periodical online. And the article was about what the ATP and WTA rankings would look like if they weren't protected.
Okay.
They did really good research on this article, and I figured it was a great platform to discuss it here. So shout out to Tennis Head on this one. But the research is this. So the current ATP rankings are this. Number 1, and I'll read them through 10 without stopping. Djokovic, Medvedev, Nadal, Thiem, Tsitsipas, Federer, Zverev, Rublev, Schwartzman, and Berrettini. Okay? If there was no point protection, the rankings would look like this as of now. Okay? Djokovic, Medvedev, Rublev, Thiem, Nadal, Zverev, Tsitsipas, Schwartzman, Raonic, and Carreno Busta. What are your thoughts there?
Raonic.
Federer's not even on the charts. Now,
Well, he shouldn't be in the charts. He hasn't played.
So you're agreeing so far that...
So far, I don't think Nadal should be number 5. He won a Grand Slam.
Now, we do have to tip our hat a little bit to Raonic here. Number 1, he's starting to lose some of that packed-on Pillsbury Doughboy weight that he engulfed while he was in lockdown. So he's slimming down a little bit.
Yeah, the summer helps.
We always discussed, since Berrettini landed at the ATP Finals a year or 2 ago, however long ago, we always made a joke that Berrettini is to Jack Sock as Jack Sock is to Berrettini. They both kind of got in there, right? So Berrettini, with the new point or without point protection, is not even in the top 10. Do you agree or disagree? I think we would have agreed that when he was in the top 10.
Yes, definitely.
Schwartzman in the top 10 on both models.
He's been consistent. That's why he would be top 10. He's been very consistent. So yes.
Carreno Busta in the top 10 pushing. Who would Carreno Busta? Carreno Busta would be pushing out Berrettini. Would you agree with that? Do you think Carreno Busta deserves to be in there more than Berrettini?
No, I don't.
Do you think Raonic deserves to be in there more than Federer?
He's shown up more.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not too far of a disparity in essence. The big changers are Rublev moves up from 8 to 3.
He should be. He's been consistent. Yeah.
Nadal drops from 3 to 5.
I disagree with that. But
well, of course
he won a slam. If Medvedev would win a slam, then I say he would deserve to be number 2. But both Djokovic and Nadal won a slam last year, and Djokovic won a slam this year. But again, he didn't defend any points because he won it the year before that. So
okay, Tsitsipas would drop from 5 to 7. I mean, I don't think it's a big nudge. If you're in the top 10, and you're pretty much.
I know someone asked me a question here about that match he had with Zverev about Acapulco. I didn't get to watch the match. Shocked that he lost to Zverev in Acapulco, and Zverev won Acapulco. I couldn't really discuss much of that. We didn't really get to watch that match.
Didn't Zverev, by the way, do something with Roger Federer in the South America type tour, some type of South American?
A few years ago, yeah.
So maybe it's possible that Zverev feels a little bit more at home in South and Central or Latin America because of the time he spent there, maybe more so than Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
So something to think about. Let's look at, Federer would be pushed all the way out with no protection. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes, I agree.
I totally agree. With or without protection. Mm-hmm. Again, we've talked about this. We won't get back into it, but we all love Roger. We get that. But in my opinion, in terms of winning big tournaments, majors, and so forth, we said this so many times. I think that time is done. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the WTA, though. I know a lot of you aren't big fans of the WTA and say, hey, don't cover that or we won't watch. I can never get down like that. You know what I mean? So the WTA rankings are this. Current, protected. Barty, Osaka, Halep, Kenin, Svitolina, Pliskova, Serena, Sabalenka, Andreescu, and Kvitova. Okay. Now, I have a big problem with Andreescu in there.
Yeah.
She hasn't played at all.
Yeah, and then I know there was an article that came out about her. I'm not putting pressure on myself. Well, the pressure's all on her already because she won a Grand Slam and she has not been able to do anything after that. So I'm just thinking she's saying that to help herself give an excuse if she loses,
Yeah.
So, she's got to prove to us something more than that U.S. Open. She's kind of just disappeared, fitness, coronavirus, whatever else. But she definitely doesn't deserve to be in the top 10.
I agree. Okay, now for the rankings if they were not protected, and this is not even recognizable. That was even their quote in this article. Mm-hmm. The women's would be unrecognizable. So without protection, here's how the rankings would be. Number 1, Osaka. Yes, again, she should be.
She should be, yeah.
Azarenka, number 2.
Should be.
Swiatek.
Should be.
Number 3. Now, oddly enough, Swiatek is not even in the protected rankings when she won the French Open last year.
Ridiculous that Barty's even in there.
Jen Brady made the U.S. Open final.
Deserves to be there.
Mertens, Elise Mertens.
She's been very, very, very consistent.
Sorry. Muguruza. Exactly.
Very consistent.
Sabalenka, then
consistent.
Then Serena.
Yes.
Then Halep, and then Kenin.
Yes.
I think on the women's side, it's a totally different story, protected and non-protected. I think the non-protected side is absolutely accurate.
Goldwolf said Bianca was called Belinda this week by some ignorant journalist. She wasn't happy. Well, the way her game's been going, she should be compared to Belinda Bencic. Sorry.
Who?
Andreescu.
Yeah.
There's nothing special.
At least Bencic.
There's nothing special right now. So.
Bencic's already back. Bencic's already in Miami.
Yeah, so is she. She's playing Miami.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Who has the better chance in that tournament, Bencic or Andreescu?
Toss up for me.
That's a great poll question.
That's a toss up for me.
Who goes further in the Miami Open, Andreescu or Bencic? That's a great question.
Jean says Pliskova is likely to drop out of the top 10 after Miami because she has Miami final to defend. Well, then I think she will drop out.
Are the points still protected?
No, they shouldn't be. This was pretty funny. Gold Wolf says Lanky puppy boy Zverev has been crying about rankings all week. Man, I wonder if he's contacted his baby's, mama. I wonder.
My question is where has Gold Wolf been?
This guy, he said,
we're like the same. That's great.
But he said he's trolling somebody, using somebody's name and trolling them. I guess he's a troll or something. I don't know.
Who?
Gold Wolf.
Well, I like his comment. Puppy hater. I'm with him either way.
Darren LeBeau says Bencic will. She's played better. Jean Schwartz says Bencic. Ola Bimpe says I'm going to say Bencic because Bianca's still coming back from injury. How long does it take to come back from injury? We got a topic about that.
Yeah, let's hold that off until we get to that topic because we're going to bring Benoit Pierre's admission to his tanking basically publicly. We're going to get to that and talk about that type of stuff. We have a separate topic for that. All right, so we talked about protected versus unprotected. Okay. Anyway, not that huge of a deal, but I think the more the unprotected side I think is better.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't have Federer 5 in the world if he hasn't played in forever, and then squeaked by Evans and then lost to Basilashvili. You can't have Osaka not number 1 when she's been winning majors, right?
I agree. Mitrovic ranking system sucks. She says Roger played 2 matches in 2 years and he's still top 10. It does suck because, geez, you got all these players that kept playing through, the pandemic, and yes, we know that he was injured and stuff. It's like saying Del Potro is going to come back, whatever, in the top 10 because he was injured for many, many years.
Well, Del Potro's now having his fourth knee surgery.
I'm just saying, it's like giving it, you can't, you're injured, that's too bad. Too bad for you, you know?
Yeah.
It's too bad, that's life. I mean, when you leave school and you're in college, and let's say you were the number one and something happens, you can't stay number one. The person working hard deserves to be number one.
Check out that, you thank you for this talk. You just reminded me about something. I definitely won't name any names here, but there are some high school teams in this area where we live where the number one player may not even be the number one player. It's just that, hey, they may be a senior and someone even better may be a freshman, and they still let that number one player be the number one player without even competing to be the number one player, which costs a lot of these players that think that they can beat that number one player with ease to not play.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So some of these coaches have to understand that you can't protect anybody's ranking. It's like in college football. Or an NFL football, if I've got a quarterback that's been throwing the ball and playing well for 10 years, but I get some rookie and that's outdoing him in practice, beating him in assignments in practice, I'm going to give that freshman or rookie a chance to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen that way in a lot of high school teams, at least here,
right?
Which is sad.
William Spencer says in 2035, when Bianca has retired, she'll still be coming back from injury. Oh my gosh.
By the way, I keep getting up to check the signal of my phone that does this. So if you're wondering why I keep getting up, it's I don't want this to cut out.
He's squatting.
Yeah, doing squats.
He's practicing squats.
All right, topic number 2. If you want to bring up anything about the rankings, please do. Carla, by the way, caught a few colorful comments in the last video. Like, hey, what the heck is this girl doing over here on her phone when she's doing a show? I have to answer that. She's reading your messages on the phone because we do not have any type of computer to set up, and our house is being rebuilt. And even then, if we use a computer, the internet, we can use our Verizon phone signal and we can do it live. But if we use the landline internet and use a computer, it doesn't even work because our service here is that bad, right?
Well, that person.
So she's reading your message.
The person was obviously idiotic.
Yeah.
Jean says WTA is back to normal, so there's no protected. They're back to normal.
Great knowledge.
But the ATP is not. What's the deal with that?
Because Federer's in there.
Mm. Darren LeBeau
because
said,
Federer's in there. They don't want Roger Federer to meet
1 million, 1 zillion, 1 trillion. You're ranked 1 trillion, Darren LeBeau. Let's see, 100,000, 1 million, 1 million, 1 trillion. What's that?
Look, the ATP in any of these tournaments, in my opinion, right? Everyone talks about, not everyone, but a lot of you talk about, hey, I just don't care for women's tennis and blah, blah, blah. And okay, that's fine. It's an opinion and that's fine. But the ATP with the big three, given that there's only 1.5 remaining, there's only Djokovic, half a Nadal, and almost no Federer, they have to continue to pay off these stadiums and these new roofs and draw people in when there's no fans, and they have to do something.
How?
Right?
With Federer not there?
Well, what I'm saying is if they protect Federer's ranking, that's going to assure him he doesn't have to meet any high seeds early on in the tournament. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
If Federer comes in as a 26 seed, he can meet Novak or Nadal in the third round, maybe even sooner, unless the draws are padded or adjusted. But hey, no one in 2021 is going to pad a draw for someone. LOL. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So they're protecting the ranking.
We'll talk about Karatsev. Gene, I
That's next.
don't think even if Nadal was 3, just because of the French Open, I doubt that the French Open they'd work it out where Djokovic and Nadal would not be in the semis. I don't think that they would set that up. Do you think they would set that up?
Okay, the thing is the conspiracy theory behind draw makers, and not just in tennis, anything where there's a draw, NCAA basketball, think about it, anything with a draw. It has always been just ground into our heads that they're completely random outside of seed. So 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, or 4 seed. And then, some supercomputer just randomly picks stuff. Does anyone think in this world in which we live that there's anybody that's dishonest out there? Is there any dishonest people in the world we live in?
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit. So if, and this is a conspiracy theory, I get it, call me out on it. But if they push Roger out of the top 10, then he is going to have to be supposedly randomly tossed into some system, and that's going to enable him to meet some of the big names early on. And those big names, even the Zverevs and Tsitsipas's, are gonna beat Roger. Mm-hmm. I mean, if Bashvili just did, and Evans almost did, then you can't tell me that Zverev, TM, Tsitsipas, Djokovic, Nadal aren't going to make him eat breakfast.
Sorry, my legs were cramping.
Well, she worked out hard yesterday.
My legs were cramping. I wasn't trying to show it, but all of a sudden everything was knotting up.
Oh, I would. If I had her legs, I'd be showing. All right.
No, I mean there was not. You know how you get those knots in your calves and stuff.
Charlie horse. Cramp.
Yeah, sucks.
All right. Topic number 2. Who mentioned Karatsev just a minute ago? Do you remember?
Yes. Ellis Fire said Karatsev as number 27. How high will he go?
Topic number 2 is for him. Topic number 2 has to do with Karatsev. Okay.
I don't
So-
think they can see that, but okay.
Same brainwave. Okay. Karatsev wins a title, his first title, and he continues to win. Why is he so dangerous? That's the question. I'll give you my take on it. You can give your take on it if you wish, but why is Karatsev so dangerous, at least currently? Why?
Well, I know what you're going to say. I've read your thing, so I don't want to say what you're going to say. I think Karatsev, though, if I didn't hear what you said before to me, I would say, well, I thought that he would disappear after the Australian Open, but that's not been the case. Why is he so dangerous?
Yeah.
No, he's got a good game. I don't know that he's so dangerous.
Well, he's winning.
Yeah, he beat the young kid Sinner.
Mhm.
And
then won the title.
And then he beat
Doha, yeah.
Rublev.
Yeah.
And then he beat Lloyd Harris to win it.
Yeah.
Good tournament for him.
All right. My take on Karatsev is this. Number 1, he's a fine player. He's got a good all-around game. He has heart. He has fight. He's not new to the game, but he's new to the tour. Okay. A lot of the players, number 1, with the likes of Benoit Pierre, with the likes of, and we got another topic for that, so I don't want to say all that now. But a lot of the players ATP currently don't even want to go to the tournaments that they're playing in. I'm not buying excuses for why he's winning with that. I'm just saying let's keep this in context for a minute. A lot of the players, and we're going to get to this topic, what Benoit Pierre said. And, I'm not a fan of Benoit, the big beard, butthole Pierre, but we have a topic about this. But a lot of the men aren't even showing up or withdrawing. Look at even Serena Williams that withdrew from Miami, stating oral surgery. These players aren't wanting to quarantine. They're not wanting to travel. They're not wanting to put up with it.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going in Miami right now.
Spring break.
Have any of you guys seen these videos of these girls in their thongs just shaking their butts? Guys drunk, girls getting raped and killed, people just sharing each other's drinks, just getting on top of cars, just creating a mess, of course. I mean, you have to look at these videos. These college students are just horrible. Yeah,
I read an article that there was not young lady, but a grandmother and her very young daughter were pulling out of their driveway somewhere in South Florida, and she was on her way to work, and a couple of people that were up all night long partying were street racing, and one of the street racing cars crossed the median, hit her head on, and killed the grandmother and the young girl. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, especially though when you have a packed Miami Beach and you have players that are having to quarantine because of it. So a lot of, again, that has nothing to do with Karatsev here. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that don't want to put up or deal with the bubbles and the quarantining and playing with no fans. Benoit Pierre alluded to say that tennis right now for him to play is sad. He goes to do his profession and there's no fans there, which takes the fun out of it for him. And we'll get into that topic in a second. However, another thing with Karatsev is new to the tour, not new to the game. He's 27, but there's not a lot of head-to-head matchups that you can go back and study and look at first serve percentage, second serve percentage, net points won, net points lost, break points converted, and blah, 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 blah.
Almost like when Andreescu came out.
Yeah, so no one has had the time to say, okay, well, he's only converted, 12 of, 47,000 break points. So let's really put him under pressure and let him freeze. There's not a lot of studies that these coaches and trainers can go out and grab with it, except a few since he's been on tour. But I really have a feeling
they'll figure him out.
Once the restrictions are lifted and people are putting their everything into the sport again, and then there's a lot of film for these matches that he's been watching. I can assure you Djokovic has already watched them. He's not going to have a problem with him anyway. He's another level. Mm-hmm. But these coaches out there that are getting paid to coach, they're collecting data, and that data will become exploited. And when that happens, we'll find out how good Karatsev really truly is.
I agree. Olabimpa said my spring break was last week, and I stayed in the house. I don't have time to perform stupidity.
Good for you.
Good for you. Darren said Roger wins. I will wear a thong. Okay.
Okay. Freeze that. That's LeBeau?
Darren.
Okay, Darren LeBeau is a beast mode. Great tennis player. Look, he's magnetic. Like I always go to his Instagram at LeBeau1, LEBEAU1, and I'm always looking. I think he has a daughter too, right?
I saw family. Yeah.
I saw a daughter. I think he has a daughter. And so if I'm right, he can say it. But what I gather from the videos, he has a child, and he's doing the trick shots. If it's not a child, with another child, and I think it's wonderful. You know, we always involve our kids in everything, and I see him doing these trick shots. You know, and they're so fun lifting. However, the thong thing, I tell you what. Okay, if Federer wins another major, he'll wear a thong.
Yeah.
If Federer wins another major, you wear a thong. How can I one up on that? Oh, I'll shave my head.
Yeah.
So whoever made the bet with us, who was it? Who was it that made the bet at the beginning?
You guys are nuts.
Who was the bet? Who was
you
the
guys
bet?
are nuts. That's
Alex Obed. Alex Obed said that if Federer won, Alex Obed said I'll have to shave my head. So if Federer wins another major, I'll shave my head and Darren wears a thong.
William said, "What can we bet not to see him in a thong?"
There you go. All right.
Ying Hao says that Karatsev is from Narnia, so it doesn't surprise me.
Who said that?
Yin Hao.
Do you guys know what Narnia is from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? A lot of people probably don't know that. When I was a kid in California, we would read these books, and it was like Prince Caspian, which is a song by Fish, by the way. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We read these as a kid. Now, Ying Hao Kor also likes Jurassic Park and Star Wars, so he's like me. We're kind of like UFO guys.
William Spencer says, I've always thought draws felt fixed for certain players. After you mentioned it recently, I've taken more notice that it's amazing how often USA, French, Aussie are in the same sections of the draws. Yeah, I noticed that Miami Open, you have two American players facing off each other.
Look at the Miami Open right now. You got Marcus Giron playing Tommy Paul in the first round.
Like, wow, that's kind of messed up.
Here's the conspiracy once again, and he just said it perfectly. You have the Miami Open, which right now has less than half of the prize money. It was $1 million to the winner. Now it's $300,000. You've got a plethora of men that have pulled out, and still you have two Americans, at least some of the two better Americans, which is sad to say, because they're not really that great at all. Good college players, but not necessarily on the pro tour. So you still have a random supercomputer putting them together. Why is that? Don't you think that the people at the Miami Open don't want to have either one of these two guys make it into the third round?
Yeah, because they're not big names.
Because who the hell is going to care if Marcus Giron plays Tsitsipas? I don't want to watch that because he's going to get destroyed. Who wants to watch Tommy Paul play? Name him.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch it?
I did look at the first round for the men's. There's not many exciting matches, so it was kind of the women's too. Darren LeBeau says, I will wear the thong on my head and run around my streets shouting, Justin made me do this. Yeah, we think that's better.
Man, I'll wear the thong for real, straight up. I don't have to put it on my head. I'm that confident. Seriously. I wouldn't do that. That would feel kind of weird. But I'm just saying I'm not confident. If that happened, I would probably just the channel would disappear. 5K tennis is no longer. Just run. All right, last thing about Karatsev, and this is a question. If Karatsev were to come in and win a major, no excuses. I don't even care if he won it. I don't care if he won the French Open or the U.S. Open or whatever. I don't care if there was no fans or no restrictions. If Karatsev came in and won a major, regardless of any excuses, would that be the biggest tennis story in, say, the past 20 years? That'd be huge, wouldn't it?
That'd be huge.
Wouldn't it be huge? Because you know Djokovic is going to show up for that. That basically tells me no one's going to get past him. But Nadal's going to show up for them. If Federer's not a threat, in my opinion. TM and Tsitsipas and all these guys, Zverev and remember when the next gen cheesy stuff came out?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the cheesy next gen?
They stopped talking about it because it never happened.
Because it's so stupid.
I think we had that guy, Big Hits Sports International, ask us who's going to be the next big three. There's not going to be a next big three.
And why isn't there going to be another big three?
Because they're not consistent. Tsitsipas, Medvedev, Rublev, all those guys are not consistent. Zverev, they can lose to anybody any day.
We have a topic coming up in the next 2 or 3 topics that has to do with court surfaces, the speed of the court surfaces, and how much more even they are today based upon how they were in generations prior to, and whether or not that affects how consistent the men's game is now versus how it used to be. All right? Topic number 3, and hopefully there are some Serbian viewers out there because this involves you guys, all right? Topic number 3, and hopefully I pronounce this okay. Don't fry me if I do not. Serbian model Natalija, I don't know, Natalija Skecic. Okay, I don't know. She's a beautiful girl, and I like this girl. She's a soldier, but Serbian model Natalija Skecic was offered $90,000 US to attempt to draw Novak Djokovic into an extortion scheme, meaning to seduce him, and then to have a hidden camera film it.
It's probably second.
To then extort from him and to potentially end his career. Now, does anyone think that in the year 2021 there's any girls that are drawn into this type of situation simply to try to swindle them into selling themselves out to put a little money in their pocket only to extort the biggest names in the sport? Mm-hmm. How many NFL quarterbacks, not saying they're all innocent, but how many NFL quarterbacks, soccer players, basketball players do we read about in the news every single day, and only about 10% come up in courtrooms?
Yeah.
So it settles money, and then finally one girl's like, yo, I don't want your money, screw you, get lost. That's what this girl said to the schemers when she was trying to be, or was attempted to be lured into this position. She stood up for her own. She did not sell herself out, and made it public that she supported and loved her countryman and Novak Djokovic.
I thought it was pretty low because not only were they trying to, get him, I think it would affect his family. They were trying to do more than, they would harm his whole family. His marriage would be in question, his whole family, people would look at him different. I didn't like this at all. I said, good for this girl to not go through with it. They obviously chose the wrong girl because there's many, many, many girls that are willing to do this. I know you guys don't watch football probably, but there's a guy, Deshaun Watson, and he's going through a whole bunch of stuff right now. So I don't know. I thought this was crazy. Obviously, they attacked him because there have been rumors before about his marriage problems. So they figure, hey, we pay this model off. We got something to blackmail him. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tiger Woods collected them. What did he collect? Tiger would collect them. I don't know what he means by that.
Oh. I can't even take a break without you going
Look at curly hair. I'm just cracking.
I can't even take a break without going into quiet mode.
I'm just laughing at this curly hair.
Walked out the room, it's like crickets were chirping out there. It's like cheep.
Djokovic is an idiot. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
LS Fire, skanky girls. Well, this girl wasn't skanky.
Well, yeah, okay, yes. LS Fire is surely alluding to the fact of how many girls do this.
Yeah, many.
And the context of this topic is this is one girl that did not.
Yeah.
This is one girl that stood up for her countrymen. This is one girl that did not want the nation of Serbia's pride to be succumbed because of a measly $90,000, or for that matter, for anything. This is a girl that didn't want to sell her soul to the devil. This is a girl that believed in standing up for what's right. This is a girl that's a soldier. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say most, but a large part of any person, male or female, would have been like, yeah, I can use this, whatever, right? Doesn't matter if you're male or female. People are brought into extortion schemes, conspiracies, day in and day out, right?
Yeah, but I thought this was pretty low. This was attacking his whole family. This would have hurt everybody.
I would like to know who and why from the people that were offering the lump sum of cash in the first place. Why?
I would have named their names. I would have said who it was.
Well, surely she did. Maybe not in terms of being scared for her life. If she didn't name names, then that would make her suspect. Kind of like, we've read some stories about these people that will leave letters that they're going on a hike, right? And they don't come back, right? And then for 3 weeks, people are looking for them. And then ultimately they're found in the attic of the house that they live in, and as an attempt to make a publicity scheme, right? Mm-hmm. We've heard about this stuff before, right? Mm-hmm. Wasn't there a group of parents or two parents that made a fake or made it a hot air balloon, just a kind of out of pocket one in their backyard? They said that the child got in it, and then somehow the hot air balloon was let loose insofar as getting the National Guard in like F-16 fighter jets looking for this thing.
Did those parents go to jail?
They finally found the balloon floating in the air, but there was no kid in it. So then it was like, oh, did they jump out? Now they're looking for a body. Ultimately, the damn parents had the kid in their basement. All I'm saying is, holy shit, the world is bleeped up and is not abating at all.
Yeah, but why do you think they target him, I know, for one reason, but was it a Serb? Was it a group from Serbia? Was it somebody that maybe is a fan of some other tennis player? I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe makes you think.
Was it Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer's agent?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Pretty sketched
I'm
out.
just curious. I would love to know who wanted to pay her.
Yeah.
I would really love to know.
And but again, I think the moral of the story here is this: not everyone sells their soul. Not everyone doesn't stand up for themselves. Not everyone will let their own constituents, just absolutely take the brunt of society.
Yeah.
For all the fake reasons, right?
Definitely.
Good job for her. In comments, any of the Serbian viewers, I'd like to know more about this than we read in the Western media, because we know sometimes it doesn't come out really copacetic, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Djokovic dead?
Let's go into that. So topic number 4, this is Carla's topic. She kind of left me out of this one because she...
Well, I didn't give my opinion on it. Not really.
All right, next topic has to do with Novak Djokovic and Novak Djokovic's father, who I personally love. Let's go, fighter. Let's get down.
And I'll read his quote for
He's
sure.
a realist.
He's a realist.
He's a realist. He just tells the truth. He doesn't beat around the bush and have to worry about what he said later. Oh, did I say that? He just says what he thinks, and then it's okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Well, his quote says, he gave an interview. He says he is already the GOAT. This year he will win the Olympic gold medal and some more major titles. Everything in tennis depends on him. He can lose, but not because his opponent outplayed him, but because he allowed his opponent to beat him. He will not leave tennis yet. His career will last another year and a half. 2 up to 3 at most, when all possible parameters will be in his possession.
Parameters,
whatever.
Parameter. Check
Spanish. There's a Spanish.
I wonder how you could create a parameter. It sounds like that hurt. Not an inch, not
Let me
not
finish.
a half inch, but a parameter. Anyway,
Okay,
sorry, that was funny.
Good. I'm glad I made you
Made
laugh,
me
because
giggle.
the curly hair is just killing me. So I hope you shave soon.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay. Win Roger Federer.
Yeah, don't count your chickens.
He is still the best tennis player in the world and one of the best athletes of all time. Well, an English journalist said last week, even though they are his fierce opponents, that his rivals are no longer Federer and Nadal, but compared him instead of Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. He's that category for you.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on that, Carla?
I thought, I said when I read this, okay, I said he's a proud dad, loves his son, believes in his son.
Okay.
Arrogant, idiot, and he's an idiot. Why he's an idiot is because Novak Djokovic, I'm sure, did not want.
You never cheered on your own 5 kids so loud.
I would
as far as where
he's not cheering. I would never go say my kid is the best, and I would never say, just to shut up. I would never say if my kid loses, it's because he let him win. Look, I get you're proud of your son and all that, but I'm sure even Novak.
I'm falling asleep up here listening to this bullcrap.
Shut up. I'm sure Novak didn't want his dad saying that. He could have said something in a different way. If he loses, it's not because he lost to his opponent. That last statement was unnecessary.
Keep going.
He has said his son was going to win all the majors last year, the year before, and the year before. That didn't happen. He has said that his son was already going to pass. He hasn't.
I don't ever recall.
Go back to the article.
I don't ever recall Novak Djokovic's father saying that he would win every single major. I don't recall him saying that.
We talked about this 2 years ago.
That's fake news.
That's not fake news. I've read all the comments and everybody, and they even clipped the articles. He said that.
Okay.
I get it.
I think maybe there's a translation issue outside of saying maybe my son has the ability to win all 4.
I don't know.
That he will.
Again, the first few statements, fine, but don't say that your son is going to lose. If he lost, it's not because his opponent beat him. It's like when Patrick Montaglu used to say about Serena, well, if somebody beats her, it's because Serena wasn't there. You don't say that.
Okay, you just basically answered one of your own questions in a sense. you just mentioned Patrick Mouratoglou, and again, I like Patrick Mouratoglou a lot. I know a lot of people don't, and I know he's shows up in people's boxes, and I call him Jack in the Box. He's a very good coach, though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his coaching stuff, I'm always taking part in terms of at least dissecting it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this for a second. You just indicated that Mouratoglou indicated that Serena Williams loses is because she allowed her opponent to beat her.
Yeah.
One of the things I wrote down to debate you on this was, is there any type of translation issue here? Was this in Serbian? It was translated into Western or English, rather? I don't know.
This was a Croatian article. So.
Okay. So anyway, maybe so, maybe not. And it doesn't matter if you're in my backyard and we go talk to the neighbors. The neighbors may speak a different dialect of English. They have an accent and we have a different accent, whatever. All I'm saying, is there a translation issue, number one?
Yeah.
But number two, I can assure you that what Novak Djokovic's father was trying to say was very much what Patrick Mouratoglou was trying to say. When the best players in the world lose, it's generally because they didn't have a great day. They didn't play very well.
I lost to Justin because I didn't have a great day. It just wasn't my day. So Justin beat me, That's why he won.
But
how stupid is that?
But what I'm saying is, from that perspective, if you know that you're if you're a coach or you're a player and you are the best player in the world and you don't win, it is generally not necessarily because that they're just a better player. They just didn't play well that day, so they allowed the player to beat them. I think that's what you're looking for. It's not his dad saying, "Look, he goes out on the court and just let someone beat him one day." It's just that, sometimes the best players in the world go out on the court and they lose to a lesser of a player.
He can lose, but not because his opponent outplayed him, but because he allowed his opponent to beat him.
But that's what I'm saying. First of all,
oh my God.
Again, that's what I'm saying, Carla.
Yeah.
It's not that you allow someone to beat you. It's just that you didn't have the best day, and because of that, they were allowed to beat you. I think there's a translation here, and I think you're reading it wrong. Serbian viewers, where are you at? I'm trying to take care of you.
Ellis Fire said, no, the best players win when they are having a bad day.
Okay, that's a good point.
Guys, I lost to him the other day because I just wasn't having a good day. I'm going to be Serena. I'm a mom, and I just didn't have a good day.
Again, I think you're missing the point. I think this is just talking out of the side of your butt. And
he's talking out of his ass. That's what's happening.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not some schmuck that doesn't know anything about the sport. He raised the champion.
Who's saying that he doesn't know anything about the sport? His son is great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that as a parent, I'm sure that Novak, when he saw this, he's probably like, Dad, why'd you have to say anything? This is why people think I'm a bad guy. I want to be liked. I'm a good person. Shut up. Stop making me look like I'm an idiot. He's not,
Yeah.
Sometimes parents say the worst things, like Venus and Serena. In the beginning of their career, their dad, William, would say outrageous things, and he sounded like an idiot.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to learn when to shut up. That's my point.
Well, that's a good point.
That's all I was saying.
Anyway, look, there has been an onslaught of Novak Djokovic and Novak Djokovic's father and Vajda, the coach, bashing for a lot of years. So many years that it just gets old to hear. So when I read things like this, I take it with a grain of salt, or less than a grain of salt, and then I ask myself, translation, maybe, probably. Maybe someone speaking the English language, if they were speaking English, isn't as proper as someone that grew up with it. Mm-hmm. And then the media twists it and turns it simply to make Fadal and Djokovic look
sure, it could be.
And
I don't think so, because many things we've read, this guy, look, I can't even read what somebody sent me that from Serbia, but there's a lot of bad stuff there about his dad.
And you never get any bad stuff from Americans?
There's bad stuff about everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not going to say it. I think the guy, he feels like he doesn't have to have a filter. He says whatever he
Good
feels
for him.
like.
Do I have a filter?
I think Serena's dad.
You don't have a filter.
I will never say, hey, my son lost to you today because you know why? He had a tummy ache. And
well, maybe not in that context, but I've never seen you have a filter with anybody over any reason.
I will never talk like this about that he's the best and he's the best. There's always someone better than you. One day somebody could be better than you and beat you. Doesn't matter if you're the best in the world. Anyone could lose.
But I think that's his point. I think that's his dad's point. Sure, he may have been beaten in whatever reference he was making, but surely the player that beat him in terms of his context, wasn't the better player. So I think his mindset is we all know.
So when Nadal bageled him, he was not.
What was that on clay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You can't say that. You have your days. He's the best right now. He's not the GOAT.
Why does everything have to come down to Nadal for you?
Well, I've read that comment. I read it. But what I'm saying, so someone's saying here, so Sonego, like you said, so Sonego, he let Sonego beat him.
Exactly. Who said that?
Gene.
Let's go, Gene. Comment of the day. Come on.
Darren said, Justin, no, I read it right. Novak's dad is disrespectful and arrogant. I do not respect him. I respect Novak 100%, but not his dad. And that's what I'm saying too. Yeah, and look, that's what I'm saying too.
Darren's a father, so this is a very credible comment. And I agree with that side of it. But it seems like over the past, 10 years, anytime Novak Djokovic's dad opens his mouth, it's all over the place. And sometimes I have I have to question myself the credibility of the stories that are written.
Why don't we hear Roger Federer's dad open his mouth? Because he knows better. We don't hear Nadal's dad ever make a comment. Shut your mouth. You're not the fat ass playing tennis. You're not the one holding a racket. It's your son. Let your son do the talking. You're not the tennis player. You're not the superstar. It's your son, not you.
All right.
You're living off your son's money.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yes.
I'm sure it helps out, but I think they were well established in their food business there on the ski slopes in Serbia. Was it a pizzeria? Didn't they have a pizzeria? Pizzeria on the slopes of Serbia or something?
Yeah,
some town in Serbia?
I'm not gonna go there.
I'm sure they were, But anyway, I get it. I think in this duel, I think Darren LeBeau and you have won. But again, why do we have to make mountains out of molehills? Though?
I'm not making mountains.
It's not that big of a deal, and here it is, front and center news.
It wasn't on the front and center news.
Well, when I find it,
the only reason I found it because it was on Twitter. It was not in the news. If you put tennis news, it was not even on there.
All right, ready for the next topic?
Next topic.
We'll give that one to LeBeau and Carla here. Mm-hmm. Topic number 4. The list of players continues to grow.
Oh, I'm so sorry, William Spencer. He said, notice how hard I'm trying to enter this discussion. What did you write? Let's go back.
Oh, let's go back.
William Spencer. Okay, Novak fans calling him the GOAT, even though he needs at least 2 more slams to even get the level with the other 2. If slams don't count anymore, then Sampras is definitely the GOAT.
That's just a good comment, and we've talked about that. Thank you for the comment, William. We've talked about this for a long time, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. But we're going to get to a topic in a moment about...
let me read a few.
Go ahead.
Justin, and this is Darren. Do you remember Rafa congratulating Roger's family after the Wimbledon final?
Yes,
That is respect, and that's how it should be.
Great sportsmanship.
Philip says, Djokovic's father's rival with Federer is better than Djokovic's rival with Federer. Yeah. True.
Darren, I do remember that. And, these guys are the best of friends. And I don't know if that was the case, then I doubt it. But I know they've had a kind of a mutual kind of bond. I guess their energy, they have the same energy. You can meet someone for the first time and you just, you feel like you've known them for your entire life. Mm-hmm. And then you meet someone and within in the first 5 minutes, you feel like you've hated them for their entire life.
Yeah, I've met people.
There's people that you love instantly and there's people that you hate instantly.
Yeah, there's people I can't connect with.
And it just seems to me, there used to be a song, Seems to Me, I forget. Anyway, but it seems to me that most people size up Djokovic and his dad right off the bat, and maybe it is that at this point they're so. The other day, Carl and I were taking 4 or 5 people to a high school tennis match. Okay, let me. I'm going to end it on this metaphor.
I want to read George's comment.
Go ahead,
George. It's Novak's father is right. He supported his kid when he was 3 years old to play tennis, and he supported him now, especially when 99% of the media is not giving Novak respect and admiration that he deserves. Well, I think that's his dad's opinion. Or maybe he wants to see a statue of him in the United States, or I don't know.
That's an awful comment.
No, it's not awful.
That's awful.
It's not awful because
that's awful.
The media is giving him respect.
The United States right now, in my opinion, has a lot to learn from other places right now.
He's saying that the media is not giving him respect. Not thumbs down. We see Novak everywhere. The media is giving him respect. Everyone likes Novak. Why does the dad have to open his mouth? Like, seriously. Okay.
I'm going to put something into context that happened to me the other day while riding with Carla, 4 of my kids, and another friend of mine, Bill Palmer. What's up, Bill, out there? He came down to visit from Montgomery. Anyway.
Wait. So Jordan says, people, you don't understand nothing. We in Serbia are watching justice in the world regarding Novak in the last 20 years, and we are full of the bulls. It's Novak fathers just said what we all think. Look, man,
That's what I'm saying.
That's great.
That's what I'm saying.
There's injustice all over the world. There's injustice in Africa. And there's injustice everywhere. That's injustice. That's injustice. That's injustice. Come on, man.
You are so biased. But
that's injustice.
You can cut through your
guys. Is that injustice? Really?
Carla,
Can
I say something without you talking for like 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Her biasness is so thick you can cut it with a knife. Why?
No.
All of a sudden you just busted out, does he want a statue in the United States? What the heck does that have?
He's saying that Novak's dad doesn't see that we're not giving him the props.
So
I see it all over.
is going to be to put a statue in this
maybe if we put a statue
country that's
I'm talking about that dude. Maybe he'll be happy if we put a statue everywhere.
Jeez,
maybe he'll be happy.
Right now in the U.S.,
I'm just saying,
I don't even want a statue of myself out here.
I'm just saying what every other person thinks.
Okay. Anyway, first off, Georgia.
George is how you say it.
That starts with a D, though, right?
He told me to say George.
Oh, all right. I'm with him on this one. Now,
of course you are.
But everyone forgets. You want me to take my shirt off and show you my Roger Federer tattoo on my back?
Let's burn that Roger Federer. You should have never put that tattoo on.
Okay. Anyway, don't call me a fan. I'm just realist. I'm just telling it like it is. Like Novak Djokovic's dad. I'm the one getting bashed all the time because I'm telling it like it is. You guys just beat around the bush and talk in circles, and I'm just telling you, Roger Federer will win another major. And all of a sudden, because I say that, I'm not a fan or never liked him.
Who said that?
I'm just being a realist, just like Novak Djokovic's dad. That's all I'm saying. Sonego beat him. Are you serious? He let him beat him.
Obviously, we said this.
So you're a hypocrite. You just said obviously, and now you're saying it's bullshit.
I'm saying if he loses a Grand Slam final, do you think Novak is letting his opponent beat him?
No, you almost knocked that picture off.
But do you think, guys, if he loses in a final, did he let that opponent win?
When was the last time he lost a major final, Carla?
French Open.
You always go into everything we do. You always go to the French Open at Nadal because it's the only tournament he can win.
And he lost it to the lady that he hacked through.
Sometimes I get dumber when she makes these type of comments.
You just asked me a question. When was the last time? That was the last time I gave you the answer.
Now, here's my metaphor to squash the subject. Okay, yesterday we were driving a lot of people in our car. We were packed in there to a high school tournament.
Yesterday we didn't play.
Or the day before, or whatever.
Okay.
Within the past 2 very busy days.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sitting in the front and I'm driving. I'm always the driver. Everybody's on their stupid devices and getting dumber in their own right. And I'm like, man, everybody's buried in their phones. I'm going to drive and I'm going to turn on music. I love music. Let's go. I spent a long portion of my life following bands. Anyway, we won't get into that here. Or the band's names. Fish, Dead. Anyway. So I'm driving in the car and I'm turning up my music. Why? Because it's just a whole bunch of people staring at their phones. So I crank up my music. Within 30 seconds, your music sucks. Your music sucks. Get out of the car. You're good.
His best friend said that. We didn't even say that.
So, okay.
So be mad at your best friend.
They all started chiming in. And look, we drove.
Chiming in? I didn't say anything. I laughed. That was my chiming in.
We drove from Dauphin Island, Alabama to Mobile, Alabama.
His music does suck.
About a 35-minute trip. And finally, after 20 minutes of them saying, your music sucks, your music, and I kept telling them.
I never said anything.
You were the worst.
I laughed.
You were the worst.
Okay.
You're
a liar because Christopher was the one I kept my mouth shut.
Anyway, to squash the subject, finally, after 20 minutes of hearing it, enough. I'm tired of hearing it. I laughed about it. I'm tired of hearing it. Just stop. I'm going to tell you like it is. You guys suck and all this stuff. I'm assuming that Novak Djokovic's dad has the same type of mentality I do. Tell it like it is. And if he gets tired of hearing stuff, he's going to tell you even worse how it is. See what I'm saying?
Okay. William Spencer says, what Novak fans have not considered is the fact that Novak can be the GOAT with 18 slams, then Rafa and Roger can be the GOATs even if Novak wins 25 slams. Yeah,
all right.
Look, God, I don't know why we're talking about this whole GOAT.
Next topic. Ready to go? Because we're going to get into that here. All right?
Sure.
Next topic. Topic number 5. The list of players continues to grow who are either not playing or do not enjoy playing right now because they have no sense of enjoyment when they go out onto the court. Okay? The list of players continues to grow of players that do not want to play right now. They could care less about playing, honestly. And they think it's a sad experience currently.
Lori,
Okay.
I'll read your comment after.
Okay. Number one, these players have a consensus of the following. A consensus of the following. Number one, no fans. They've trained their whole life since they were babies to play this sport, their master craft, right? We've done it. They've done it. It's always nice to play in front of fans. They have no fans. Quarantine. They go to these tournaments and they got to go in some magical bubble like Miami, where they have to quarantine for 14 days prior to the tournament. Yet there's 10,000 spring breakers shaking their ass on top of convertible cars and going to jail, fighting and killing people, street racing in the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Strict guidelines, right? Strict guidelines. They go to these places, they quarantine, they have to stay in these hotel rooms and
They're in a
there's
bubble.
in a bubble, but yet, there's 20 million people running around the hotel outside beneath them,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't think they can clean the whole hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, less money. Let's look at Miami. Miami's purse to the winner is generally around 1.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The finalist or the winner of this tournament this year gets 300,000. That's 700,000 less than normal.
Wow.
For the winner.
Wow.
Now, the list of the men not playing is vast. It's big. Okay. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to tell me that Serena Williams isn't playing because of oral surgery? Are you going to tell me that Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and the big three, who haven't missed a 1,000 event in umpteen years, are just playing because they're hurt? Or
No, Djokovic.
No one wants to deal with it.
Djokovic said, and he stated, because of the quarantine, he said, "I'm not going. Plus, I'd rather spend time with my family."
Now,
Great point.
Benoit, sorry to cut you off. I just want to finish them,
No, go
and then
ahead.
we'll open the floor for discussion. I'm
Sure.
sorry, I did not mean to cut you
Go
off.
ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Benoit, the beautiful beard, really lack of sportsmanship. Let's make up some nicknames for Benoit Pierre.
He's horrible.
Shove a pastrami sandwich in your beard and you can't even find it. Brillo pad, Velcro face, ass bag, butt munch, you're worse than puppy haters Zverev guy, whatever you want to call it. But Benoit Pierre went insofar as saying, not in the exact words, but that in essence, he goes to tournaments and may tank, in other words, may lose, without even worrying about it, because he's going to collect his money anyway and get out of the bubble as soon as he can. And that was his quote, and I don't want to say it's exactly quoted, but Benoit Pierre alluded to say that when I go to these tournaments, I hate being in this bubble. I hate being there. I just want to get on the court and get off the court and get out of the tournament that I've already committed to, get paid what I'm going to get paid to lose in the first round anyway, and get gone.
Yeah.
That's where we are in the world of tennis, and especially the ATP right now.
Not just the world of tennis, Justin.
Look at the list of how many people have pulled out on the ATP side. Sure, the women's is gaining traction as well, but don't be surprised if there's someone like Siegemund that wins the women's tournament.
She plays. I think she plays Azarenka first round.
I just made that name up. So
But she plays Azarenka first round.
anyway,
But let me read here. I like Oliver's comment. He says, "I think the winner should get less because generally the winner is a player that already has enough money. The rest of the players should get the same as normal because they need the money."
but see, now we're showing favoritism here. Now it's not equal for everyone.
Yeah,
I agree
true,
with what
true,
I agree
true,
with
true.
you're saying, but now you're putting people in class systems, and that's a problem in terms
Yeah,
of
then we might as well talk about
so
socialism and
yeah.
communism.
So I get what you're saying, and I think it's a poignant comment, but you couldn't do that because then the masses would say, okay, you get into isms and ideologies, and when you get into isms and ideologies, people begin to riot. So you can't really go there with that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm gonna just read Lori's comment because we didn't get to it.
Go
She
for it.
was watching, and she, I guess, watched when Novak heard what we said about Novak's dad, and she said it's almost like Novak's dad is saying that his son is infallible. He's human. I think he's also saying it's like Novak is God, and Novak decides if he loses. Wrong, and it's just wrong.
Again, I really
Anyway, she just gave her comment.
Okay,
We know yours.
I like the comment, but I guess I'm missing the point, or I guess everyone is missing the point. The two of you that make these comments, your mothers, you have children, you have 5 children.
I think Darren made the same comment. William made the same comment. Quite a few agreed.
Look, I will maybe myself and Novak's dad are just different. Wasn't it me just the other day that almost got kicked out of a tennis tournament because I was cheering too loud? Is there anything wrong with that?
That's
No,
completely different.
That's just me.
That's completely different.
You can't tell him to not be him because this is
we
what
are
you
all
feel.
parents, so don't tell me that we don't feel the same way about our kids. Again, there's things you can say and things you can't say.
Great comment, but
Yeah.
I disagree with the both of you.
Okay, well, that's too bad.
If you're a proud dad, some dads, get more proud than others, and I don't think you can take that away from him. I'm sorry. I'm a dad. I get where you're coming from, and you have the right sportsmanship. You have the right take on it.
Anyways,
Anyway.
next subject.
All right.
So, let's see. The Hulk racket destroyer, yes.
So we got
Oliver said the money for the winner will still be more than the money for the rest of the players.
But think about this.
80% less.
But think about this though. There are some tournaments that Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer,
they get paid extra.
they get paid $1 million
just
to show up.
Yeah.
Because the tournaments know how much stuff they're gonna sell, right?
Yes,
So if the tournament can't afford to pay $1.3 million in prize money, then how in the hell could they pay him $1 million to show up? And this is what you guys are missing. All of you that think these players aren't showing up because, they're actually hurt or they actually had oral surgery are the same players that usually get paid $1 million to show up, not including prize money and endorsements. So I think a lot of you have to understand that you're missing the point. If you're only going to pay me $300,000 to play, Miami, by the way, and Indian Wells. Indian Wells didn't happen. Indian Wells and Miami, for the longest time, have been considered the 5th and 6th major, right? The 5th major and 6th major, because they're 2 out of 3 sets, they call it the 5th and 6th major. When you're going to play a week and a half, a nearly 2-week tournament, and the same type 128 draw type setup, playing every day,
it's a master.
It's a grind. It's a big tournament. And you're going to go there for 14 days in quarantine, jump out, play for basically a week and a half straight. You're usually given $1 million to show up, and now I'm not getting that. And on top of that, if I win, I'm getting 1,000% less. That's the proof in the pudding. I don't care what their excuses are from their publicists or agents, but there's your proof in the pudding. Why in the hell would you want to go deal with that if you've got $200 million in the bank, i.e. Federer, i.e. Nadal, i.e. Djokovic, i.e. Serena Williams? Why the hell would you want to deal with that? You wouldn't, and that's what Benoit Pierre is saying.
So going to that tournament, we might as well talk about Venus Williams.
All right, go for it. But look, let's.
All 32 seeds get a bye. Gene said all 32 seeds get a bye in this tournament.
I get it.
I found that crazy at the Miami Open. Yeah, I was looking at the draw. You're right, Gene. I was like, bye, which means not too many people play. I was like, it wasn't interesting. I looked at all the first rounds. I wrote the first rounds. I said, let's see what interesting match. Rogers against the Lavina. Woohoo. Sakari versus Roos. I was like, all right.
I'm getting dumber.
Musetti versus Maul. I was like, okay. Jerome versus Tommy. Kokonakis playing a qualifier. I was like, there's nothing interesting in the first round.
Carly, you and I, since we have known one another, keep up with every Challenger event, every ITF event, every Davis Cup event. Now it's not the Davis Cup anymore. Unfortunately, we've kept up with 250s, 500s, 1000s, women's premier, and the same thing. This is the first time that I've ever not known that Miami has started.
That's true. The only reason
I had no idea. I had no clue Miami started.
The only reason I knew was because B-Dog sent me a picture of Venus. And I was like, what? Wait, the Miami Open started? I didn't know.
Do you have that picture of Venus Williams?
Yeah, she got it. She lost in the first round. But again, I think we said that she's not playing tennis because she knows that she can win. I think she's just doing it because...
Yeah.
She's bored. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Venus Williams a lot. I always have. She's a graceful champion.
Oh, but she just didn't look graceful there.
She got the Yoda haircut.
What is that?
Is that Yoda? That's Yoda.
But then it gets worse. I'm like, well, what was she thinking when she went to this tournament? Like, what's up with the Wonder Woman belt? I was just kind of puzzled by this. I don't know what to say.
Look.
She's bored?
No, she has a brand, and she has a
Wonder Woman? Well, she definitely didn't do much.
She has a major brand. She's promoting her brand. Now, Roger Federer, because he doesn't really have his Nike thing anymore. He's got these new things going. A lot of me feels like he's still playing for his new brands, not his own, but the Uniqlo line, and then his own iCloud shoes.
Is anybody going to go buy that Wonder Woman outfit and play tennis? I'm just curious.
No, but, maybe some people will, but I agree with you. Look, Venus was a great champion. Venus Williams was one of my favorite players to ever win the tournament at Wimbledon. Wimbledon's my favorite tournament, and so good for her. But Venus Williams is to Roger Federer to me. The thought of either one of them.
Well, I think Federer is going to perform a lot better than Venus is.
I think that I think that they'll have some similar outcomes. Venus Williams might make the third round, and then
she hasn't passed the first round. It's been hard for her to pass the first round.
Okay. Anyway,
I think
enough said. I think the metaphor is the same.
To Venus, to Clijsters, to Del Potro.
Okay, maybe, but Clijsters came back like 17 times. It had a double chin every time.
My point is that they're not winning first rounds. That's my point.
Yeah. Well, pretty soon Federer won't be winning any first rounds either. All right.
So Darren LeBeau said, I just ordered the Wonder Woman outfit to match on Amazon.
Can you send us a video of this?
On Amazon. When Roger Federer wins.
Yeah, let's see your next trick shot with that on. Telling you, you'll get views left and right. All right. Next topic. Did we squash that one?
Yes.
All right. You sure?
Yeah. There's nothing more to talk about in that one.
All right. The topic that we just squashed was the list continues to grow of players that are unhappy and they don't want to play because there's no fans and their job is now sad, quote unquote, like Benoit Pierre said, right? Mm-hmm. The last question I'll ask all of you: do all of you as tennis fans agree with the likes of Benoit Pierre that tennis is right now currently sad? And is that why I didn't know that the Miami Open had started?
Maybe.
All right.
William Spencer said Venus is now basically on tour to forward her products. That's her choice. But it's kind of sad to see a great former champion getting flogged by average players just so she can promote new outfits.
Well said.
Lori said, makes me sad to watch Venus play because she doesn't have the moves anymore. Looks like she's in pain.
Yeah. Now, speaking about pain, by the way, speaking about players in pain, Juan Martín del Potro is headed for his 4th knee surgery. In my opinion, Juan Martín is one of my favorite tennis players, not of all time, but he's one of my favorite people. You know what I'm saying? I went to a couple U.S. Opens, involved with some racket stringing there, and never met the guy, but kind of see him walking around, and he just seemed like an approachable person. Never talked to him, never met the guy. Mm-hmm. But why would Juan Martín even contemplate returning as of right now? For what? There's no fans, number one.
The Olympics, he said.
Yes, I get he wants to represent Argentina in the Olympics.
His dad just passed away.
Did Gabriela Sabatini do any damage at the Olympics for Argentina when she was playing?
I can find out.
You don't have to do all that. I just thought about that.
Okay.
So Juan Martín coming back. Number one, yeah, I'd love to see it. But you have to ask yourself, he's so injury prone, number one. He's like me. I'm very injury prone. Mm-hmm. Juan Martín is the same way. For why would he come back? Is it to have your fans cheering like they used to with these Argentinian flags, like a soccer tournament or a football tournament going, oh.
How old is Potro? How old is Del Potro? Let's see.
And that's the beautiful thing about Juan Martín. When he played, the Argentinian soccer fans and the Argentinian patriots would come out and they'd be like, whoa, stomping.
He's 32 years old.
And stomping on the ground. And you would be reminded that the Argentinian fans are awesome, right? Mm-hmm. They would turn it into like the World Cup, but in tennis, right? But there's no fans. And for what reason? To win another major? Do you think Juan Martín can win another major?
No.
I mean, it's just not going to happen. The Olympics, I don't think that's going to happen.
But then again, why is Andy Murray playing? He pulled out of Miami with a groin injury. This guy can't. The luck is not on his side.
Has Novak Djokovic ever won Olympic gold? I do not know.
No, he has not.
So don't you think?
That's why that quote of his dad said he would win Olympics.
Exactly. Now, by the way, Djokovic's dad made reference to the fact that Novak Djokovic would eventually be the Michael Jordan of tennis. If he can pass Federer and Nadal, that's a great statement. Anyway, we won't go back there. Now, speaking of other people in pain, Andy Murray pulls out. Andy Murray pulls out of Miami.
Injury.
Yeah, he wakes up and his hip is hurting or his leg is hurting or something, and he's out indefinitely. This is another person, Del Potro and Murray. It's just one of those things where we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing what we're doing? Yes, we can stay on film. Yes, we can enjoy the camaraderie. And yes, we can enjoy the traveling. But you can't say you enjoy the fans. You can't say you enjoy the bubble, right? You can't say you enjoy the quarantine. And you can say that you enjoy the competition on the battlefield, i.e. the tennis court. Mm-hmm. But you can't tell me you enjoy waking up in pain and having surgery every day.
Yeah.
So at some point, someone has to say, enough is enough. Maybe we can get into coaching. maybe Del Potro and Murray can go to Britain and can go to Argentina respectively and raise a prodigy, and then shift over to the coaching platform. I'm one of them. Like Carla and we're going to play a doubles league starting, and I've never played one. I played singles through college, and
doubles is not my favorite.
And then played singles in what's called USTA Men's Open. Started getting injured a lot, and that was like 15 years ago, and I haven't played a competitive match since, outside of just messing around with her. So, I'm kind of even uneasy about that.
Yeah, Darren said Murray's not injured. His wife just had a baby. He needs to be honest and say he wants to spend time with his family. I can 100% say it's not because of injury.
So this is fake news, and this is coming from someone, by the way, that's from there.
Yeah, well, again, the oral surgery, if you have surgery in your mouth, I mean, my son had his wisdom teeth pulled out. He was playing tennis within 2 days. I mean, Philip says, tennis is a state of transition where we're watching some of our favorite stars age and be hampered by injuries. The new group of young stars, with the exception of Osaka, aren't exciting. And with there being no fans, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, and that's a good comment, too. It's kind of sad when the younger generation that's healthy can't beat the injured older generation. What does that tell you? Is it these things right here? Is it these stupid things here?
Atlas Fire says Del Potro's tennis technique is maybe why he got injured. What do you think?
Very jerky. He's right. Yeah. He had the big kind of cannon forehand. He was very wristy.
Yes.
Del Potro would use the wrist a lot instead of the arm and body. His pronation wasn't very snappy. It was laborious and labored. A big guy like that hitting the two-handed backhand is laborious
and running
and taxing. Playing matches.
Watching him run it was painful for me.
Yeah, for someone like Del Potro to make his game. There's a saying, from a coaching perspective. Let's go out and train today on serve +1. Let's go out and practice on serve +2, serve +3. Let's open up the court and start being tactical. The problem with Del Potro is with his, what was he, 6'6", 6'7", and he's injury prone on top of that. Del Potro always needed to play serve +1 tennis.
Gene says even his service motion is very long and takes a lot of it.
Yeah, taxing, laborious.
Yeah.
I think Del Potro's career would have been better if he would have played more of a Sampras style game. Serve, get to the net. Serve, get to the net. Del Potro plays and still plays with the Wilson K Factor 95. Which is a relatively small-headed, stiff frame. So he's not going to out-battle people off the ground from back there with that thin frame, stiff beam, not a lot of flex in the head, very stiff, heavy racket. So I think between his stiff racket, playing at the baseline, against people like Djokovic and Nadal and Federer and so many others, it was too much for his frame. He should have been +1, +2 tennis. Quick, on and off the court. That's it.
Breaking news from Darren.
Who?
He says, I have just pulled out of Miami because I just chipped a nail.
Let's go.
I will be back for the clay court season wearing my Wonder Woman outfit.
Let's go.
We're looking forward to this outfit.
Yeah.
We really are.
I can't wait to see that. All right, last topic. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you have any topics you missed? I've got a last one that's going to be a dinger.
No.
Okay. Last topic. Now, this topic came from... Look, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, by the way, that you guys say we should be like. And by the way, Carla and I are nonstop into tennis. Whether we're reading it, or studying it, go to bed talking about it. So many of these other channels are totally plagiarizing other people's writing, and they don't give them they don't give them credit. We read everything. We've been lifetime USTA members, so Tennis Magazine comes to our door every month and has since I was born. All the blogs, all the vlogs, all the podcasts, everything we are listening to in the car, on the court, on speaker. So it's kind of hard to pass. Anyway, but a lot of these people that you say for us to emulate that don't do women's tennis and we shouldn't, or we should do their topics and shouldn't, and not ours, do your homework. A lot of them are just nothing more than 2-bit plagiarists. We had one guy at one point, we did a Jeopardy show when the pandemic started, and like 3 days later, he said the first ever tennis Jeopardy, and we had 27 viewers say, yo, some dude's totally copying you. And then I think even our son saw it, and he was like, my dad and mom just spent 3 days writing this, and now you're doing the exact same thing with the exact same topics. And then he said in comments in return, was like, oh, this is our first one. Anyway, nothing is original. And if you are going to take someone's time, and recopy them, at least, and give them credit for it. So again, as always, this topic.
Thank you, Philip. He says you guys are the only tennis anything I listen to, and I always love it. Keep doing it.
And
Keep doing you.
And that's Philip. So Philip, thank you very much. I'd love to meet Philip. By the way, Carla has a lot of respect for you since she was.
It's been a long time since I've seen him. We were kids.
Since she was a child.
We were kids.
Yeah, and Philip is a really fine physician in New York, and my father's a physician. And I know that doesn't come easy. So there's a lot of study and hard work and nights with zero sleep that never stop. So I hope at some point you catch up from your sleep that you didn't get during residency in medical school, because I know I was a child during that. So hopefully you are rested. Anyway.
Darren says never change, Justin, Carla. We love you. And Jean says just be yourself, guys. That's my advice.
All right, this is the topic of the day, and I saved it for last. Okay, This is my favorite topic of the day. So Darren LeBeau, this topic comes from, by the way, tennis, not the magazine. I saw this on the USTA, tennis, whatever news. So, and it was written by James Gray. Okay, so this is, again, anybody that writes something that takes knowledge, it takes time, and they deserve credit. This is not my topic, but I thought it was really well done. But we can all talk about it. Mm-hmm. So this interview that James Gray, he did with the former British number one, Greg Rusedski. Do you remember Rusedski?
Yes.
Fine player.
He had a temper problem, though.
Yeah, Rusedski was around maybe 5 or 6 times in my playing career. Never really met him head on, but same type of locker room, passing and so forth. Rusedski was taking an interview on with James Gray. And Rusedski voiced his opinion that in his era, which was, like the Sampras era, kind of given that,
He was in a Sampras era, Agassi era, yes.
Yeah. He indicated that when his generation was coming through, that all the court speeds, French Open, Australian, Wimbledon, U.S. Open, were largely different, okay? They weren't the same. Mm-hmm. And by a long shot, he alluded to that the court surfaces these days, Wimbledon and all of them, are pretty fast. They're all pretty fast. And before, you had the clay super slow, and Wimbledon was super fast, and the Australian had a different speed than the U.S., so everything was different, okay? Rusedski said that during his time that there were 10 guys, at least 10 guys. That's 10 in Spanish?
Yes, yeah.
At least 10 guys at all of these tournaments that believed they could win that major. Okay. Mm-hmm. He made reference to like the French Open. Right now at the French Open, players go to the French Open and no one believes they can win because they know Nadal's going to win, right? Mm-hmm. But back then there was Kafelnikov, Muster, who's some other ones? Curtin.
There was many actually. Yeah, Krajicek. You had.
Well, Krajicek won a Wimbledon one year, didn't he?
For which?
So Krajicek would have been the grass guy.
Which
clay? Was Krajicek a? No,
you had all the Spanish players. All the Spanish players at that time dominated.
So what Rusedski is alluding to, that if that was still the case today, that the dynamics of the big three would not necessarily be the same. Again, he said that 10 guys. Look, Patrick Rafter, for instance, won the U.S. Open twice, right? The Australian. Patrick Rafter, he won 2 U.S. Opens, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it back-to-back even?
Maybe. Yes, I think he even donated all his money.
Yeah, so then you had, Gustavo Curtin that would come in and win the French, and then you would have Sampras that won everything else. Sampras never won a French Open, right? And Agassi, I think, only won 1.
Yeah, Bruguera, that's a good one.
Bruguera's another one? Okay.
Darren said he played Greg in 1988 in juniors, lost 6-1, 6-2.
Who said that?
Darren LeBeau.
Let's go.
He said, never faced a serve like that before. I was in shock.
Yeah, Rusedski was a tricky player and a good player. He did have a little temper issue.
Hi, Sinissa. You should watch the beginning of the show.
Yes, Sinissa.
Chang. She said Chang, Courtney. Yeah. Yeah,
Sinissa, watch the beginning of the show. We definitely gave you an apology. So watch the beginning of the show. We love you a lot. Thank you for being there. Let's go. Watch the beginning of the show because it was for you. All right. So here's a little statistical knowledge drop, okay? Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, between the years of 2003 and 2010, won 25 of 32 majors. Okay, between the years of 2003 and 2010, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal won 25 out of 32 majors. However, of the 40, that's 40, of the last 40 slams, Novak Djokovic alone has won 17 of them. Okay? Understand the domination there. Nadal and Federer have been around during those 17 of the last 40. And that's where I think you guys get mixed up when it comes to what Djokovic's father says. I mean, it's kind of hard to overcome some of these stats. So my question is to you guys. If the surface of the Australian was a far cry from the U.S. Open, even though it's the same surface, if the French Open wasn't a far cry from, say, Wimbledon. You know, they've made the courts to be faster even on the clay. It's a little bit faster.
Wimbledon is definitely different.
Yeah.
It was not like that when we watched it.
Yeah, it's different.
It's much different. Before, you really had to have a serve and volley game. You had to have a net game. So otherwise, you would not win it.
Is Rusedski on the correct path? I'm not saying he's right or wrong. He didn't say he was right or wrong.
Korda's a good one, George.
Yeah. So Peter Korda. Mm-hmm. So does he have some credibility here? The surfaces are more about speed these days for the most part. It makes better sales. It makes better TV and so forth. But if we were on 1990 surfaces where every surface was quite a big difference, would these big three have done the damage that they have done today? Would they? I think so. I think they're that much better. I don't think that the big three came to be because of they're so much better than everybody else.
No.
I think that the big three were the big three that didn't pick up these devices 27 hours a day and take selfies all day long.
Philip says before you had to be a specialist, now you need to be a generalist.
That's a good statement. Let's make a t-shirt that says
William Spencer says making the courts far more similar has helped kill off the variety in the sport. Being, say, a grass specialist now is less valuable. And it's slower and higher bouncing now, making serve volleying harder.
Well, yes. Serve and volleying on clay has always been difficult.
But serving volleying in any surface has become harder.
It's still doable. Doesn't Sasha Zverev's older brother still kind of do that? Is it Misha? Isn't Misha Zverev still an every point serve and volleyer?
I think so. Very few.
It's still doable. It's just not taught as much.
It's doable, but it doesn't mean you're going to win.
Well, with the polyester strings, the serve gets to the target quicker. Mm-hmm. Okay. With the lighter rackets, you can swing the racket faster, so you're adding more power and speed. It's tough to get inside the service line and split step and then make that volley. Nowadays, you serve and volley, and you're just getting just barely to the service line, and you're split stepping, and someone's aiming for your feet, and now I have to volley up. So the problem with serving and volleying now, if you're serving too big, is a well-trained player is going to aim for your feet. And they're not going to go for the pass right off because they just want you to volley up. So that's the problem. How do we?
Kevin said it's still doable. You just lose though.
Well, good point.
And Jack Nosey says yes, maybe surfaces similar, but also top players tend to be good on all surfaces to some extent.
I agree.
All right, we've been on the show for almost an hour and a half.
All right, I'm good.
You're good.
Hopefully, the next show that we do, we will be back in our house. Our move-in date is supposed to be April 1st. Now, we were supposed to be back in it on November the 1st, then December the 1st, then January the 1st. Then when my
this is going way better now. So it'll be the first week of April.
So whether or not we do our next show here or there is up in the air currently, but we definitely hope it's back in our house. Mm-hmm. If not, I'm not gonna be surprised because I've been surprised.
I think though we've been watching a lot and we've seen progress.
Yeah.
So we'll know this week more. As a matter of fact, I got to run to the house.
All right.
Question for you, no bias. Who is the best player of the Big Three era? All-around player, I would say Djokovic.
You have to say Djokovic now.
Yeah.
Now here's another question though that I'll ask myself: who is the best player? Not the best. What player would you care to watch the most?
Federer.
Out of the Big Three, I care to watch Federer. Again, I was raised in a traditional tennis family. I hit a one-handed backhand. All 5 of my children hit with one hand. No, Gabrielle hits with 2.
Yeah.
But I don't like to see a man hitting a backhand with 2 hands.
It's not that I don't like to see.
I don't care.
I don't have nothing against a guy hitting two-handed. That's his opinion. I just think sometimes it's the same type of style. I think Novak and Nadal have similar styles, so it's kind of boring to me. So I like to watch something different.
Yeah. All right, guys, take care. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you very soon. Within the next few days. Again, right now we are extremely busy in our tennis season with coaching, with the high school tournaments. with our house being rebuilt, now getting kind of to the cusp of actually going back in. So, if there's any disparity between now and when the next video happens, don't think anything has occurred. It's just we're really trying to push really hard to get back in our home. And then unfortunately, hurricane.
And I have to clean, and we have to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, hurricane season is about to start again. And I won't get into the weather. If you watch my weather videos, I'll mention this there at length. But there's two types of patterns. That's a La Nina pattern and an El Nino pattern. The El Nino pattern kind of keeps wind shear out of the Gulf of Mexico. The El Nino pattern lets wind shear into the Gulf of Mexico. That kind of destroys hurricanes before they make the curl up to the central Gulf Coast. And then the La Nina pattern kind of keeps the wind shear off to one side, the western side, and allows storms to kind of come in and then take that turn up into the central Gulf Coast. And we are in that pattern again for the second straight year.
I'm going to be praying that really we don't get anything.
So we are in a La Nina pattern. By the blessings that we may be given, I really for 1 year hope that we do not get another major hurricane here.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone. Much love. See you next time. Boom. Let's go. Let's get down. Come on.